Right, okay.
No.
Now I've pressed it again. Okay, there we go.
Is that
So I've
us now?
started again.
So you were saying you're professional and you do your work to a high standard.
This, right, people listening. Okay, fucking put
Mm-hmm.
this music off. Not
Uh,
a word of a lie. We just started the podcast. I said, listen, I'm getting professional. I'm getting to a standard. And as I said it, I leant
there was
on
a
the
lot
off button.
you were pontificating a little bit.
I
I
was.
think you I think you got involved with the
Oh,
Concorde program. Okay,
jeez,
you're
yeah.
an
I
engineer
was.
on
I
Concorde.
worked on the
The
wings.
week the week before the
Oh
week
my
before the end.
god.
Jesus
Actually, as I
fucking
said
Christ.
it, I leant on the stop button and had to start again. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'd blame the Gremlins, but
Oh, Jesus. Gremlins. That's a
blame
World
those
War
Grem.
Two term, isn't it? For airplanes. If they didn't work, it was
Well,
gremlins.
funnily enough, yeah, I was watching a thing about fucking some kind of pilots. You know when you just let YouTube just roll on?
Yes, and it always gets to serial killers.
Well, it always seems to get to fucking Jeremy Clarkson going about heroism.
Oh,
What's
God.
his obsession? He's almost as much as a soldier banger as old Dan Snow. Dan Snow needs to get a room with the British Army. He really does. Fuck's sake.
Oh, God.
He loves a man in uniform.
Is that what it is? It's the uniforms, isn't it?
Well, there's a big guy called Rav Wilding.
Okay.
He's a kind of crime watch dude, but he was in the police force. But I think a lot of police force are like failed military dudes. Can you know what I mean? I
Okay.
think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he tried to get into the army a lot of the time, but his nipples were too sensitive. He just couldn't. But
That will prevent you
he
from.
is such a uniform guy. He just ooh.
Well, it's like you see when the squaddies are about. There's a
Uh
whole group of girls that will just appear. The
Yeah,
people love uniforms. I tried that uniform dating website. I think I told
right.
you that, where I dressed as an abattoir worker and covered myself in blood and I had a pig's head, and I never
Yeah.
got one response.
Oh, Jesus
It
Christ.
cost me
The
a
thing is,
fortune
they're
for a
like,
joke.
check this heroes in their uniforms. But they could be a low level guy in the army that mainly peels tatties.
That's true.
I
That's
told you
true.
about the time of the Falklands War.
Uh huh.
The state I grew up in, there was like Bunting and that. Some hero, the
Yeah.
great conquering hero came back. And there was it was, I found it disgusting as a child. But anyway, the guy had been on a supply vessel peeling tatties.
Oh yeah.
That's what he'd done. I don't even think they let him mash the tatties. He was at
Well,
the early stage of potato production.
because my family liked to fight, they were all in
Yeah,
the Falklands. So I mean, I remember getting on the hire minibuses, and we had to
yeah,
drive down to Bryce Norton to welcome them back.
yeah.
And my cousin was the first person to be injured in the war. He was a digger driver, an engineer, and he
Uh-huh.
drove over a landmine, and it blew him up in the air, and he compressed his neck by hitting his head on the roof. And that was his war over.
But I watched a thing. It was some kind of some raid on like a German submarine pen,
Yeah.
and it was just suicidal. And it was
Uh huh.
literally nobody expected to get back. And when we're chatting to them, it's just young guys just wanting to test themselves. You know what I mean?
Did
They
you go
want to
through that
see.
in your life
No,
though?
no,
No,
no.
I went through that. You know where
Did you?
you,
No, I just didn't
yeah.
give a fuck. I've never been very interested in testing myself on anything.
There's in St Andrews. There's a little rock. Well, a little rock. It's
Uh-huh.
about 100 foot,
Mm.
and it's good for practicing climbing on. I've
Oh, I
been
think I
climbing
know
there
the
for
one you
years.
mean. I know
Just
the
down
one you
from
mean.
the
Yeah, yeah.
caravan.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I've
Well, if
I've
you
pitched against that a couple of times.
everyone has, and when you get to the
Uh-huh.
top of it, there's a little extra bit that sticks up, and it's
Oh,
7.5 feet tall, and you can
uh-huh.
jump off it back onto the ledge, and the ledge is about a foot and a half wide, with about 70 foot on one side, 100 foot on the other,
Uh-huh.
and it tests you to give the nerve
Oh.
to do it. So every year I go across, I climb up, jump off it, make sure I haven't lost my nerve. It's a bit like your Bella Lugosi.
Bella Lugosi, right.
It's the same
It's not
thing.
about it's not about my physical prowess, the Bella Lugosi. It's just so I've got enough brain power to get up in the morning without shitting
Well,
myself.
every morning I get up and think of Bella Lugosi, so I know you're okay.
I don't. I bet you Bela Lugosi is mouldering in his grave and he's thinking, "Go on,
Go
vor,
on for every morning
go
you
on,
wake me up.
vor."
Well, the thing is,
Wake me up.
when I jump off that rock, right, it's not about
Hmm.
my physical prowess, because my physical prowess is fucked. I'm injured to anything. But
Yeah, yes,
it's
it's
the
your
mental.
mental fortitude.
Yes, will I do
So
it?
so basically what you're saying, you like to once a year you like to toss yourself off a rock.
Yes, in exactly those words. Yep, yep.
When you're doing that, make sure that the breeze isn't blowing into your face. You don't want a nice
No,
North
no,
Sea, you know,
we don't want that.
because the little shards of spunk of yours that could blind you.
Oh, it's like glass. Now, the thing is, you never went through in your early 20s that thing
No,
that you've got to
I
test
was,
yourself.
I no, I was into bevying
Well, I didn't drink,
and
so
eating kebabs.
no, not me.
No, I think I once kicked a bollard
Oh,
that had a traffic cone on it
holy
and broke my
shit.
foot.
Fuck the police.
Yeah, I did. I kind of broke there's a spell I broke my ankle about 10 times. I just always breaking my fucking ankle.
Oh, glass.
I went to the hospital. I think I've hurt my ankle. They says, "Oh no, it's a really bad sprain, but we've looked at your the X-ray, and you broke your ankle about 6 months ago." By the looks of things, I said, "Yeah, I did as well. Just broken
Oh,
ankle."
God.
You know,
I've broken.
we're poor little meat puppets, really, aren't we?
Do you know,
We're fragile.
I broke my ankle and didn't
Hmm.
get it sorted and just sort of
Yeah,
didn't walk through it, but certainly had to try and do it myself because
yeah. Uh-huh.
my current partner, you know her well,
Uh-huh.
um, I was trying to impress her by jumping from tank trap to tank
Oh,
trap. This is a
Jesus
grown man
Christ.
in his 30s. From tank,
Jesus.
and I got tired and I fucked up the last one and I crunched my ankle. And I went, oh,
Did she just carry you? I bet she just. I was going to say she dragged you by your hair back to the car, but no,
no,
she
she just
dragged you
left
by
me.
your feet.
Yeah.
The poor woman had to hold on to your
And then
feet.
3 nights later, I was hiding this pain. I just, oh God. And we're back at the same
You
beach.
are quite stoic. You
And
are
my
stoic.
mates,
Yeah.
they liked playing frisbee. So had to stand
Oh,
in.
what?
I know, I had to stand in one place, right? Because I couldn't run. And the frisbee came towards me and I stepped back onto a rock and actually broke my ankle. The same foot. I've done it properly.
Frisbee.
A
Did they
frisbee.
have those little bean bags you kicked about? What are they called? Nappy sacks.
Hacky sacks.
Hacky sacks.
No, but my friend did. Now I have to agree
Oh,
with you. I know your reaction to what I'm about to say, but I
oh,
agree with you. Whatever you do, he juggled.
oh. So
Oh,
was he a member of the Street Entertainers Union? There is
oh,
such a thing.
really? Oh
Oh,
God.
I remember seeing Duddit Park. I was walking through there one day, and there was some students,
Yeah.
sockless, and they had their various stuff. And what they had was they had like a piece of this rope. They were making a tightrope
No,
between two trees.
that's a slack line.
A slack line.
I've
Well, it
got one of
wasn't
them.
rope. It was
I'm
what?
sorry. I like slack
Could you
lining.
tell the listeners you admitted to me something terrible? What have you been doing in your house for the last couple of weeks?
Not.
You've been noodling, haven't you?
I've been playing a lot of guitar.
You've been noodling.
I've been playing a lot.
Oh,
I've
your poor
not
neighbours.
only have I been doing that,
Uh-huh.
I've got now. I've always been a musician, and something I used to do and make money from
Uh-huh.
for a while.
Uh-huh.
I've only ever owned like 2 guitars, and never owned a guitar amp. I've
No,
never owned an amp. I've never. I was a
no.
bit like I worked as a photographer, but I didn't own a camera. It was the
Right,
same
okay.
thing, right? But at the
Uh-huh.
moment, I have for the first time in my life, just in the last week, bought a guitar rack because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guitars.
Oh,
And that's
Jesus
now
Christ.
to any guitarist listening, they'll just be laughing because that's nothing. But that's the most guitars I've ever owned.
Well, somebody, we reached out to the listeners
Yes.
for people to ask questions.
Uh-huh.
And the first question I received was, are you looking forward to, after the pandemic, visiting Derek's house? The answer
No.
is no.
No. This is an
Because
area that will
I'd
never
have
be
a
shared.
compulsion. I'd have a compulsion to bring a wee hatchet with me and then just smash
I
all
could
your
imagine.
guitars.
Cut my slack line in
them.
half.
Cut your slack line. Oh no, I wouldn't cut it in half. I'd just fray it a little bit so,
So
when you
when
used
I
it, you
do
felt
fall.
in your ears. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my partner was really good at that. She could really walk it and bounce on it and everything. She's really good.
Uh-huh.
And but I was, yeah, I was all right.
And
I
you
could
can
walk
use
it.
it. You can use it for chokey wanking as well.
You can, you can. It's a bit of
It's
an
got a
instant
nice,
death.
gets a good grip on the neck.
Yeah, so I'm playing guitar.
Uh
I've got
huh.
a guitar rack with, and I got a new guitar, and everything's great. I'm
Uh huh.
building something that musicians will know what this is, a new pedal board.
No idea. No, don't know what that
And
is.
that's
Don't know
where
what that is.
your guitar goes into pedals and it gives you different sounds and you can design it
Oh
yourself.
God.
Oh, it's great. I'm building a new pedal board because I've always been a multi effects player because it's cheaper,
You're speaking a foreign
right?
language now.
And people will know what I'm
Uh,
talking about. But I've decided that I'm
well,
needing a very
people,
particular
musicians aren't people.
musicians. Well, no, they're not. And I'm building a new pedal board. Well, I've got a lot of old effects and that, but I'm getting some new ones
Is
and
that a
some.
wah? Is that what's called a wah wah
I
pedal?
do have a wah wah pedal. I have a
Oh
Marley
Jesus Christ!
Classic.
You're like that fucker that wrote Solid Air.
What's that?
Who's that musician who wrote Solid Air?
I don't know this one.
John John Martin.
Oh my god, you
So, he was swapping for Solid Air. Something like that.
sake, your
One of the
musical
finest
taste.
declines in music history. He was a because back in the 60s, 70s,
Uh-huh.
it was all the rock stars pretended they were mental.
Right, okay.
But they weren't. Fucking Mick Jagger's just a big pussy, and they're just all nonsense.
Right,
The real
okay.
mentalists were the folky guys. They were the real drinkers.
Do you know what I could tell you for an absolute fact? Because I know,
Yeah.
well, how can I describe? I know a girl who's a sex worker, right?
Right. Okay.
And she does travel the world doing this, and she's a fucking delight. Makes the best korma you'll ever have.
Right. Okay.
But
Special ingredient, the korma.
no, actually she's a total dork and normal. It's the weirdest thing, and this is where the theory comes in. And she says when you meet anyone who's in a band, a rock star, anybody like that, they're normal, they're polite, they're just normal people. But when you go to the people in Silicon Valley, and the
Oh, they're the
people they're not,
deviants.
she says weird beyond even anything she knows.
Well, they're just socially awkward,
Yeah,
and their peccadillos will be peculiar.
yeah, because they've got their. I think now there's nothing wrong with porn. That's fine, but porn nowadays it seems to have got more and more extreme, where people think if you're better at sex or you know more about sex, you're more extreme. And this is her theory as well. She says they've learnt everything from Pornhub. They don't have social
People are better
interaction.
working from a limited palette.
Yes,
Missionary position, 6 wee pokes, and you're done.
That's
That's all you need.
Oh my
That's
God,
all you
do it
need.
twice.
Anything else is just showing off.
Completely agree.
No, well, yeah, no, it's extreme. But if you are an obsessive porn consumer,
Mm-hmm.
you'll just go through it. You'll push the envelope.
You'll have to
You'll
get
lick the
numb to
stamp.
shit.
Yeah, you'll be numb to it. It'll just be. It's like I do know worryingly that a lot of kind of abuse stuff. There's things that has been influenced by pornography. The stuff people wouldn't even have considered doing.
Yeah.
And they've watched it on the porn, and it's like a lot of the. I think it's a lot of the kind of degradation stuff. You know what I mean? I think that.
Yeah. Well,
And imagine watching that kind of porn when you're like, because men find porn. When I was a kid, you'd find a porn mag in a bush.
yeah,
Or you'd get
and you were young
VHS
enough to be
tape.
horrified and go, "What the fuck? That's
What
terrible."
the fuck? This is bizarre. But it was all fairly tame stuff I remember watching.
Yeah.
But a 14-year-old now could just watch Bukaki.
Yeah, they get the most horrendous stuff, and they think that is in some way, in any way, normal. It's not. That's not normal life.
No, it's slightly different, but one of my mates is a school teacher, and he
Okay.
was saying a lot of the young guys, he says they think that you now, to be attractive, now this is northeast of Scotland,
Yeah.
15-year-old laddies, they think they need to have a tan.
This is.
They think
see,
they need a
no,
full body tan.
you said
to
that's
be
a different
attractive.
thing. I think that's exactly the same thing.
You know what
It's
I
the
mean?
same thing. Yeah, it's just madness.
They've skewed this weird notion of being attractive is go, fuck's sake, when I was a kid, it was you'd wear a stinky pair of jeans,
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean? Some shitty t-shirt. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? That was
Yeah,
it.
that's
Basic stuff.
And if you were
But
posh, you had a pair
nowadays,
of Pepe jeans.
yeah, Pepe's, Pepe's. But now the young guys have to have their hair in a very specific way, got to pluck their eyebrows, they've got to have the full tan, they're waxing bits of themselves.
I
Because
think
pubes are out.
pubes are out. I think it's always been that way. But nowadays, because the homogeny of the whole planet, and I think it's
Yeah.
got a bit more bizarre and a bit more like that extreme. And you just have to
Well,
say
your
to
youth,
kids, "Come on,
I
calm
mean,
down, dudes. Don't worry about
your
it."
youth, you're quite, in your youth, you're looking good, you're looking
Yeah.
young. You didn't really need to be clarting your face with makeup, to be perfectly honest.
That's true. That's
By
true.
our stage in life, fuck, if we were really getting into it, we'd need some thick
We'd
makeup.
need some fucking
Oh,
plaster of
we
Paris.
the needs. I'd need some contouring going on. I'd need some
Oh,
right good. I need some right good lead paint.
a lead
A bit,
paint.
a bit of creosote and some lead paint.
Oh,
Yeah.
now creosote. There's a
Uh-huh.
name.
I
Bit
love
of
the
a
smell of
subject. Well,
creosote.
bit of a subject change. When I was staying in Kansas City,
Uh-huh.
the girl I was staying with, her sister, I used to meet her every day and would go for like some food and a coffee and that because she
Uh-huh.
wasn't working at the time because she was heavily pregnant. And so we'd just sit and talk, and I went, "You should call the baby." And she went, "What?" And I went, "Creosote." And I don't know where it came from. So anyway, months later, just about to drop, and I'm back in Scotland for a couple of months before I go back again.
Uh-huh.
And I get a phone call, and the
Oh
phone
no.
call is from her mother saying, "You better tell her to change that kid's name because all she was talking about is calling it creosote."
Oh
So I went, "Oh,
Jesus
for fuck's sake,
Christ.
it was a joke." So I had to phone this girl and say, "Look, don't do it. But I really like it. It's really exotic. I love Scottish names." I went, "No, no, no, no." So
Oh
I had
no.
to, and they know what creosote is there as well. This girl was just thick.
Is it not carcinogenic creosote?
Very much so, yeah. I
Yeah, it's
wouldn't
one of
drink
these
it.
things that would be there'd be a lot of it in my youth. There'd be
Yeah.
creosote just everywhere.
Everywhere was covered in creosote, yeah.
I love the
That's right.
smell of
It smells
creosote.
nice,
You
yeah.
know the one I smell, my favourite smell? Window putty,
Oh,
the linseed
that is
oil.
a good smell.
Oh,
That's
isn't
a
it?
lovely smell, yeah.
You know how when you smell something, it just transports you. It unleashes a memory. It's a
Smells
very
are
Smell's a
incredibly
very
powerful,
powerful scent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, if you, and nothing else will do this, but if you smell something you haven't smelled in years, it will
You're transported.
transport you back to that moment you last
It
smelled it.
does. Just that
But you're in
moment.
that moment, your mind actually takes you there. It's a whole virtual reality thing for a split second.
hmm
And the one that does it for, oh God, I'm away to say something and we get shit
Oh,
for it. But when you go
oh
surfing,
God.
the wax you put on the
Oh,
top of your board to
I
give you
knew.
grip,
You know something? I knew you were going to say board wax.
but it's called sex wax. Oh, it's so
And
good.
What's the smell of it?
It's you'll get a coconut vanilla
Oh,
A. It's
funnily enough,
just amazing.
the smell of sex wax
Hmm.
transports me to the studio,
Oh, Jesus.
to a little recording
Now,
nook.
anyone who listens to this that's surfed, now I don't think you get this wax anymore, but it was called Killer Bees, and it was in a little polythene bag and and it was
You've
in the
just
shape of
sought
it.
out.
Oh,
You've sought out some real subcultures, haven't you?
oh God, the smell of Killer Bees wax was so good, you
Uh
didn't
huh.
use it. Or bubblegum wax, that was another one that you no longer get. I think you might get it actually. Fantastic. I'm looking right in front of me, and I've got Mrs. Palmer's wax. And I've
Uh huh.
got Five Fingers wax, and they're just glorious
It's
smells.
5 fingers wax, so you can fit 5 fingers up there.
Yes. The waxes have all got very sexual names, like Quick Humps and Sex Wax and stuff, but
Quick humps.
Quick Humps, because
Thick ditch.
you get lots of stuff like that.
Thick,
But the
thick,
smells, oh,
thick ditch pumping gel. Is
I
that
would,
such a thing?
no, but I would
No.
love to make my own wax. But
I bet you would.
you know what the smell would be? Patchouli.
Oh, I hate that
A
fucking
patchouli
smell.
board.
Fucking hippies, man.
my whole studio smells of patchouli.
It
It's
reeks
lovely.
of joss sticks.
Oh, I love
But
it.
I'm always suspicious of people who use joss sticks because I always think they're trying to hide a darker smell.
Well, that's a possibility, but everyone likes the smell of my studio because it's all leather. But
Unclean
I
britches. But you've told me before,
don't smell
leather
it.
doesn't really have a smell.
Yeah, it's fake. When you smell
It's a
leather,
fake
it's
smell.
fake.
Where
Yeah.
did they get the odor for leather? Where did they?
I've got this. It's this thick yellow viscous substance.
Mm.
Well, whitey yellow.
Is it earwax?
It's earwax, And that's what I put on the leather to give it its smell. So when someone opens it in the bag, it's a beautiful smell of
you
leather
sneaky
they get.
bastard. I was sitting and watching the TV last night, and I felt something, and something rolled out my ear, and it was a perfectly spherical piece of earwax.
Oh Jesus, you're at
Quite,
that.
quite a big
You're
chunk.
desiccated, dude. You're at that
Is
age.
something in there digging about?
Possibly that can happen.
It can happen,
Yeah, it
can't
can. It can.
Earwax. Who was it? Was it him, Hughes, Howard Hughes? He collected all these waxes and fluids.
Yes, but he also walked around with 2 Kleenex boxes on his feet to keep them clean.
And he got blood transfusions, but he only accepted Mormon blood.
He wasn't a well guy.
He was surrounded by Mormons because he thought they were reliable. So it was all these ex-Mormon guys,
Oh God.
police officers that all secured them. The Spruce Goose.
The Spruce Goose.
Interesting guy.
Oh, very interesting. Very damaged.
I've never seen that film about him. The one, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I've not
Have
seen
you
that either.
it?
No, I've not seen it. But
he was kind of similar to you. He was an obsessive.
I don't think I'm obsessive.
No?
Oh God, am I obsessive? Because someone who is obsessive
No, you
would know.
think?
Oh, Jesus.
No, heavens, no. There's nothing obsessive about you, mate. No.
God.
No. Just scratch that.
Oh, okay. That's
I'm
now
looking out the
concerned.
window. It's a lovely day in Dundee, isn't it?
But it's cold, man. We're now officially
I
cold.
like that coldness. If my nipples don't get paired, I just don't leave the house.
I like the
it.
cold as well. I've said that to many people, and they look at you like you're insane. But I do like the cold.
I love a crisp day.
Lovely, absolutely.
I
gorgeous.
looked out my pair of my leather gloves for wearing. They're fur lined.
Oh God, your killer gloves.
I look forward to them. They were quite expensive gloves. They were getting thrown out, and I took them home.
Yoinked them.
They're like 70 pound gloves.
Oh, goodness, I like. See if it's snowing, and there's a fresh layer of snow, and it's nice and thick, and I'm walking down to the studio or something. It feels like a little adventure. I love that.
You feel your little face. It's all that stingly way. My dad gets chilblains.
Right,
and I have a memory of him when the first snow of winter, he'd run out in his bare feet and run about in the snow.
Would that fix it?
Yeah.
Or caused it?
Maybe he was just drinking meth or something. But that's how he explained it to us. You know, he's chilblains.
Yeah, that
he used to dunk other things in the snow. I don't think
we'll move on from that. We know he listens. We'll keep it as kind as we can.
I remember I was thinking the other day, have I told you about the family called, oh God, I'm going to forget the last, maybe I shouldn't name their last name. It was a family up for me. And in the summertime, in the scheme, everybody would like sit out in their front gardens. It was just grass. There was no fence. When somebody bought their council house, they'd put up a fence. But prior to that, it was all open. And this family up for us, they started making love under the tartan rug. In plain sight of everybody.
Jesus Christ.
It was one of these families where the wife, he had 6 partners.
Okay.
And 6 different children.
Yeah.
But the children were then pairing off with other you know what I mean?
Yeah. Very.
It all got a little bit like bullfrogs in an African. Yeah. Things like that happen. It's like Blair Gowrie was on the TV last night.
Oh,
Blair Gowrie seems to be doomed. Because my friend Ross lives in Blair Gowrie. House prices have plummeted since he moved there.
I have no doubt.
But he lives next to a graveyard. What do you think of that?
I think it's lovely. I'd like to live next to a graveyard.
I think he's been digging about, you know what I'm saying?
Is it? He caused COVID. Digging all the bodies up.
Digging all the bodies up. Well, that's him that wears the cloak. I have visions of him wearing a cloak. And when he opens his cloak, he's got a vest made out of clitorises. He's just cut off.
I can see that happening. You've told me about this guy. I have no doubt now. Jesus, man.
No doubt about it. But he's got a little security camera. He's one of these guys. He likes to... Because graveyards, by their very nature, attract a strange... No, Ross is a nice guy, but he sees
He's
people
also
like
strange.
a lot... He is strange. He's friends with me. He'll see people milling about in the graveyard at all hours.
Yeah.
Because glue's never sweeter unless you're sniffing it in the graveyard. They like just fuck about in there. Well, you get those people, kind of people that do the brass rubbing.
Yes. Yeah.
That's weirdos. Do people do that now?
Yeah, you still get that. I think it's quite encouraged, actually. It's
But that's a thing that used to happen. I thought people were tired of that.
is it? I've seen some things where they kind of encourage it because it's a way to get into history, and
But the
which is
thing
fair
is,
enough.
if you were doing it, you'd wear off the letters.
Oh,
You know, it's like in Edinburgh, is it David Hume, the philosopher
yeah,
guy, the
okay,
statue in the Royal Mile?
yeah,
Is it David Hume?
something like
Oh,
that.
it doesn't know. Somebody will.
Jim
But
Hume.
he's got a toe, Bobby Hume, but he's got a toe
Yeah, and it's
that's
worn away.
people touch it for luck and they've just worn it away. It's like Greyfriar Bobby's nose.
Yes, it's a stub-nosed dog now.
It's a snub-nosed
Yeah,
dog, yeah. That
but
dog was a silly fucker. Do you believe a word of that story?
actually, yes,
Oh, you
because
do? Oh,
it
you.
happens all the
Uh-huh.
time.
Does it?
Yeah, it's not as rare as people think. It's quite common. The dogs will
So
just
the
stay at
dog, the
graveyards.
dog, the dog thinks you're just waiting in the ground. Do
Unfortunately, something like that. A dog is the only animal that, when it gets a fright, will run towards humans.
I'm not 100% sure about the tail. I'll be honest. I'm a bit.
It's maybe not. It's maybe exaggerated or something like that.
Mhm.
But it does happen a lot.
I
There's
bet
a
the
famous
reality,
dog in Mexico
the
that does
dog,
it.
was it?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it
But
happens.
I
Yeah,
think I'm not
you're
sure
not sure.
because all animals are deceitful cunts, really.
Uh, I would say yes, but I think dogs are different because
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
if a cat,
yeah.
see if a dog gets lost or something, they don't last long. A cat can look after itself and go wild.
Hmm.
But a dog, it's like people think, oh, we domesticated it. No, this was a completely mutual thing between wolves and humans at one point.
What about one of those big Akitas?
Oh, Jesus Christ, they're
Imagine
huge.
it going wild in Dundee. There was an Akita that used to walk about the campus of the university, and the owner was an absolute scumbag. But it did shits, and you should have seen them. The
Oh,
guff in these shits.
they're gigantic. They're war dogs, though.
No, they're the kind of dog you put in a spiked collar and send it up against troops.
Exactly. And it's like there's been a couple of dogs recently in the news, and they've got like medals for taking on like Taliban or something. And you're like, do you know what they did? They grabbed them by the throat and pulled the guy's throats out. These dogs are fucking psychopaths.
Oh, Jesus Christ! That's a dog. When you retire a murderous dog like that, you just can't put it.
No,
Give
you
it to
can't.
some old.
No,
You can't give it to some old wifey in Downfield
I think they go
and
and
say.
live on a farm. A lot of them.
Speaking of crazy old wifeys, have you seen? Did you see that video of the COVID deniers in City Square?
No, I haven't. I'm actually trying to avoid stuff like that because I don't get angry. The things that bother me in life is maybe like frustration that affects your
Hmm.
mind, stuff like that. But I rarely get angry. And recently, I saw those fucking twats, and I got angry in a way that I was
There was
standing up,
about
sitting down,
five or
standing up,
six of
sitting. I was
them.
so angry.
They've written a little ditty, and they're all fucking jumping about and tugging each other. They're all women
Yeah.
of a certain vintage.
Yes. There's
And
a.
I can tell where it comes from. All of them have got shit haircuts because the roots are all coming in. And I think it's just as simple. They can't get a fucking haircut.
So they've
So
got
they're
to go full
willing to
mental.
pull the entire society down just because they can't get their hair. Can that tinky Dundee woman, can that beetroot
Yeah,
colour?
and I know what you're talking about. Yep, that there's always when they get
But
older,
going
they
to
want to
the
do
effort.
a colour.
But doing the effort of fucking writing a song about it, go and fucking do a charitable act, for fuck's
They
sake.
absolutely believe the whole thing's fake. But if you look into it, now I'm not just saying this about Dundee ones. I'm not going to make any accusations, but a lot of them, they seem to find their accusations drifting towards Israel.
Oh no, all conspiracies,
And you're
all
like, what the
conspiracy
fuck?
theories. There's like I'm at a bit of a quandary. Like
Uh-huh.
when I managed to destroy my internet by cutting one copper wire coming into my house,
Yes.
the guy that came out during, it was an emergency, you can imagine,
Yeah.
but he came out and he was fixing the house, but he drifted into the topic of it's all a conspiracy, and he mentioned Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And then the other day, I go get my watch fixed. So there's a watch repair guy in Dundee, and I go, and he's a nice guy. And I was speaking to him, and I says, "Go, this thing, how you getting on? Oh, no bad, been busy, no too bad, can't complain." And I says, "Good news with the vaccine, so hopefully things will get back to normal come summer.
Yeah.
There's light at the end of the tunnel. And I was expecting him to go, yeah. He goes, have you heard of the Great Reset?
Oh my God.
And I pretended I didn't know anything about it. So I'm like, no. And he says, yeah, it's Bill Gates and it's the vaccine. And it's
Oh, Jesus.
and oh God, and he said Justin Trudeau's involved. And
Well,
I
I've
says, oh God, you'd like a guy. I know. He said Justin Trudeau was Fidel Castro's son. And he said, he said, oh yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, he does look like Fidel Castro.
what the
I'm like,
fuck?
what the fuck? And his argument was, and I says, look, I wasn't getting into an
Yeah,
argument with him, but I said, look, the first lockdown, I didn't know anybody that had COVID. I knew of people a lot from a distance.
yeah,
But I says, this time, there's a lot of people I know that are one away. Family members have had COVID quite badly. I says, it is closer. You can see the reality. And he says, he just didn't believe me.
yeah.
And he
Just
said, well,
not.
he said he had family throughout the world. And he said, none of them, there's just no COVID there. He said he knows people in China and nobody has COVID there. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God. And it's put me
Dude.
into a situation. I'm like, do I still go to him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what
Because
I
it's
think.
really,
Look, I've give up a friendship of 20 years because
yeah,
someone's a denier. I can't be around
yeah.
this. I can't
But
condone
how
this
do you get?
foolishness.
But he also said that the vaccine, it's going to sterilize people.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
they're
what I've
doing.
heard. Yeah,
So
that's
the
the one.
vaccine's all about sterilizing
Well,
people.
I
And
listened to Tim Pool. Do you know Tim Pool?
yeah,
Yeah, and I thought he's pretty. He does his best to try and be as objective as possible and stuff
yeah.
like that. But he's all about the Great Reset now, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, man, come on,
Oh
what are you going
Jesus
on about?
Christ! But you can't even joke about it. I says, oh well, if it's universe, but they seem to think you'll now, if you don't have the vaccine, you won't be able to do anything. There'll be a tier system, so there'll be the vaccinated people will be allowed to go on with their lives, and all the non-vaccinated people won't be able to do anything.
Oh
They just
God.
won't be able. And you're like, fucking hell, man!
The
Jesus
thing is,
Christ!
right? If you've got a conspiracy theory, now here's the thing: conspiracies
Mhm.
exist. A conspiracy theory, you have to provide evidence,
Yeah,
and every time you
there's
get evidence, there's
there's
none.
no evidence.
When you look at a conspiracy theory that Epstein, people covered up
Yeah.
for him and all that, there was evidence. You can follow the trail. This happened.
Oh yeah,
Conspiracies do happen.
he was undoubtedly protected,
Yep.
and his protection meant that he dodged one charge of child
Mhm.
abuse,
Mhm.
but there wasn't enough juice to get
To
him
get him
off with it
off. Yeah.
twice.
And that's it. So
If he had, if he had just stopped what he was doing, he'd have been fine. But he over-egged. He gambled. He thought he was too protect. I suspect he's bound to have compromising people. He's got to
oh
have filmed
God,
some
yeah.
people.
Yeah. Oh, things have
But he
come out
wasn't.
about that,
He
yeah.
was. But what they always say is, "Oh, it's international pedophile rings and they're sacrificing and eating children." You're like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
The reality is, he was definitely he was trafficking young women. He was undoubtedly doing that and passing them over to people.
And is that not
That's
horrendous
horrific enough.
enough?
But
Yeah.
that's
You
not
need
enough for
more. You
people.
need more.
People just want everything to be like a fucking hostel film.
But
They
that's
want.
it.
They
And
want.
it's you have to have this special information that I know this
It's like
information other
pornography.
people
It's
don't.
like porn.
Yeah.
People can't just watch
It's got to get
standard
more and more extreme.
meat and potatoes porn anymore. Conspiracy theories have to be people eating babies.
And it's so extreme in every
We're
direction now.
overheated. We're overheated, aren't we? There's too much
Yeah.
information.
If there was a genuine conspiracy that people uncovered, like a journalist or someone
Yeah.
exposed, I've heard that many now. I'd go, whatever.
You just
You just tune out, yeah.
It actually nefarious people. It benefits them
Yeah.
because it's just the whole world is just this shit storm of like circling, swirling madness, and they're getting on with their business.
It's like, now, this is going to sound daft,
Distraction.
but do you know what just ruined all things? Well, not ruined all conspiracies. I still have an interest in how people get into this because when I was in my early 20s, I was all about Bigfoot. I loved it. So I started getting
Sexually
books.
or
Not sexually. I wasn't into those
No.
books, which do exist. Bigfoot porn does exist. And I
Oh.
got into British Columbia, the nature, I really got into it because I wanted to go and find Bigfoot, right? A total nutter. But then you start finding out about bears. And bears walk on their hind legs. And
Yeah.
when bears walk, their back paw goes into their front paw's footprint. And
Yeah.
they make this huge print. And you're
Aye.
like, the more I read about it, the more I got into bears.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then bears used to get brought to the UK, right, in Victorian times and were shaved. And they called them the pig-faced women because they look like humans.
Yeah, oh God.
And you're like, it's bears.
Yeah.
And now,
Bears.
obviously, now I'm older, and you look back on you wanted to believe in Bigfoot.
Youthful exuberance.
And youthful exuberance, and you're stupid. Now, that's not an insult to young people.
No.
You're meant to be stupid. That's
Yeah,
what gets
you've
you
got to
doing incredible things. But once I thought, wait a minute, look into it. And that thought in my head, it sounds stupid, but not the version that people use now. I researched that. No, you looked online.
Yeah.
Talk to people who are smarter than you. Talk to people who are experts in the field. Look at what they say. But
It's
then people will go, yeah, but I don't trust them. And now we're at the stage where scientists and even doctors are not being trusted by stupid people because those people think they know better.
oh, it's shocking. Yeah, they've
It's
just got
terrifying.
certainty. It's, I suppose, the stupider you are, the smarter you think you are.
The Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah,
That's it,
really
yeah.
smart people know. God, they know the
Know
level
your
of their
limits,
intelligence.
that's
They're
it,
like that. They know
yes.
their limits. They know there's going to be a smarter person than them, and they seek those. Yeah, it's. You hear of horror stories where people get into this QAnon thing.
Oh,
and
that,
they get
yeah.
into it. They get their family involved in it. They have an epiphany and fucking get out of it. But all their family are still in it.
I've actually seen people talking about that exact thing, saying,
I listened to a podcast where a woman, her mother and aunties got her out for a birthday thing in
Yeah.
the woods, and she thought there was going to be cousins and everything there. And when she got there, it was just them trying to indoctrinate her into the QAnon cult. It's fucking terrifying.
It's madness.
I heard a good one. I think it might have been on Twitter the other day, and some guy got into a taxi
Mm-hmm.
and he had his mask on. And the taxi driver didn't have a mask. And the taxi driver wasn't happy about the guy wearing the mask and started to lecture him a bit, saying it was all fake and it was all a conspiracy. And the guy thought fast on his feet. He says, oh, you don't wear masks. He says, oh, but I don't wear a mask because of COVID. He says, I wear a mask to avoid the facial recognition software and the security cameras. He says, we're all being watched and listened to.
Brilliant.
So the masks help. So the taxi driver put the mask on.
Oh, God, when does it end?
Brilliant.
But that's clever.
brilliant.
But when does it end?
No, when does it end? No.
When does
Because
the
that guy
conspiracy?
will go home and tell his family, oh, it's the fucking facial recognition. I
Yeah.
heard from a guy in a taxi. I think he must have worked for the government. Yeah, it overheats and overheats and
It's-
ramps up and ramps up.
I feel that people, because they say, we're being indoctrinated to get used to different things. I think that is partly true in one aspect. When you see a headline in the news and then you go, oh shit, and then you go and read it and it's nothing to do with the headline.
No, yeah.
And this happens all the time. This is how you get clicking. This is how they get paid for advertising. This is what it is. Clickbait.
Yeah.
So when you see a headline, you go, Jesus fucking, and then you get irate, or these people all hear a headline or they'll hear this conspiracy, but when they actually read it, it's a lot softer version, but that headline sticks.
The headline's a bit that sticks. A lot of people don't even read the article.
Yeah,
they just read the
that's
headline.
it.
There's no doubt that things that have been in the pipeline, this whole crisis has sped things up. Like cash.
Yeah,
Cash
that's
was going to be
done.
on the way out. This has sped up the process considerably. I don't work cash.
Yeah, that's it. Cash is done.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people like cash because they feel on a low level. People know your business.
Mm-hmm.
They think that cash keeps you out of the. There's a truth in that.
And there is a truth. There is a market of trade that will be taken away because of cash.
We're in the foothills of some interesting times as far as AI, mechanization. The days are like in our lifetime, if we live long enough, there's definitely going to be some universal wage everybody's going to get. There's just employment. This is the whole dynamic of things is
Things are
changing.
happening fast, and the proof of that is in a few days. I'm waiting on a new game I've been waiting on for years. Right.
Okay.
Cyberpunk 2077. It's set in the future. Right.
You'll be
But-
looking back on 2077 and saying, "God, it didn't. It's not really like that."
It's not
now."
like that. But here's the problem with it.
Mhm.
Society has moved that fast in the last couple of years. There's aspects of Cyberpunk 2077 that was written 7 years ago that are outdated.
Oh fuck, that's aye.
Isn't that incredible? Science
telling you, man,
fiction
the
is just being outdated.
The future's going to be, there's going to be two kinds of humanity. There's
Okay.
going to be the guys who have embraced technology.
Uh-huh.
They will have some kind of augmentation in their minds, their chips. They will have Google in their head.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then you have the Slab City people. And
The
they're
Slab
just going to live
Cities.
smoking meth, living in caravans.
And I've thought about this a lot. Now, to travel through the galaxy, the universe,
Mhm.
we're
You'll
not
need
able.
AI.
We're not able
No,
as,
you'll
as,
need AI.
as humans. So, for this natural progression, this evolution of leaving the planet and searching and continuing, AI, artificial intelligence in a form that represents us,
Mhm.
or our evolution is that? Are we just the placenta for computers?
Yeah,
Are we just the primer?
we are moving away from yeah.
And then we'll be left here in our mud huts, and our children will just that are computers or whatever. They'll
but
just
imagine
go off
if
into the
AI
universe.
sets off, goes away, travels for thousands of years,
Yeah,
discovers there's fuck all out there, goes, I'd better head back.
yeah.
And when it gets back, the whole world's become Dundonians.
You know what? That's likely. That
And it's just,
I have a theory. Yeah, that's why. Because I said to you before, the only way you can evolve is by being flawed. Perfection can never be achieved, right? Because you're always right. Exactly.
Well, speak for
For
yourself.
yourself, yeah. But your environment always has to be in some way against you. You can never, and that's what allows evolution. Now, after that time, we continue forward. Now we will evolve, not in the way making AI, because we've done that. So we'll go off on another tangent.
It's going to be big thumbs, mate.
It will be Dundonian, because that is the ultimate in continued modern failure.
Tiny little people
Uh-huh.
just going about eating mince.
That is the future of all humanity.
But say they sent this generational spaceship away.
Okay.
Yeah, with people on it. Being in space would change people dramatically, wouldn't it? Would you need legs?
Well, no, probably not.
You'd become like a human snake.
You'd probably have
wouldn't you? You'd need
I think
arms.
2 flippers at the back just to sort of propel you along in the air.
Like Medusa out of Clash of the Titans.
Oh, that would be handy.
Snakes in your head would be good for doing little jobs, you know?
You know
little
what?
fiddly
I
stuff.
do a lot of soldering, and I've got the wee helping hands, like crocodile
Oh, yeah,
clips.
no. Yeah.
I've got them, and but if you had a few snakes coming around and holding it for you, that
Fucking
would
hell.
be good.
Like Doc Ock.
That exactly. That
There's
would
Doc
be nice.
Cox, but I think is he
That's a
not
different
Dr.
thing.
Fox? Dr. Fox.
Dr. Fox. Oh, I hate that cunt.
Did he not get cancelled? But is he uncancelled now?
Oh, I don't know. Well, he's not a real doctor, nor a real
You
fox.
surprise me. You surprise me. He's not a real fox. I wouldn't trust a fox as a doctor, especially if you're a chicken.
They do scream a lot.
I
had
know.
one last night here, actually.
Oh, they're behind.
They're all
There's,
over
there's
the
a
place.
few of them behind me, and they do make quite a bit of noise. But I've got one of those trail cameras, a night camera thing up out there, mainly to spy on my neighbours.
Oh,
But
fair
now
enough.
and again, it spots a wee fox going about its business because I put some cat food out for them.
Oh, that's
Beautiful
nice.
animals.
Oh, they're lovely.
Beautiful
Lovely.
animals. Yes. So when is our 100th episode?
Now, here's the problem. I
'Cause
messed
I'm
up
relying on you
once.
to have
I
counted
messed
it.
up once and got the numbers wrong, so I think we're one behind. So I think
Uh-huh.
we're on 96. 97 will be going up
Jesus,
tonight. This will be 99. Oh,
Fucking hell.
yeah, this will be 99 because there's one before it.
I have a box of sparklers in my studio. I might get a fucking sparkler out.
Okay, you know what we're going to do? A
What?
week today, we will do the 100th episode. right? So people hear this on Wednesday. So quickly get your questions in because we're going to do an extra long one, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
get questions and we can answer anything you want to know. Go
They're
deep.
getting to ask really sleazy questions, though.
Anything you want, you can ask us.
Just
We will
anything.
answer
There's no
anything.
boundaries. There's no
I will
boundaries.
put this up on Twitter all week to get questions in. We've got one already, as you said, so we'll readdress that on.
Yeah, I found that one a bit intrusive. I think he was trying to get. Basically, he's if he had some plasticine, he'd make copies of our house keys.
I could see this.
He's wanted to come into our houses and do stuff.
I've met him in real life, and I would imagine he knows how to pick a lock.
He does.
So
He just come in, he's cooked it. I'd like to think I'd come back from work and he'd prepared some nice dim sum, and he's laid out
that
the
sounds
kitchen.
good. Are you hungry?
But I'd probably find him squatting over my underpant drawer.
Listen, that's a small price to pay for a nice meal.
Dim sum.
That's a
These
nice meal.
dim sum have an unusual flavour. What is this
Bit
sauce?
like chlorine in it. So
Yeah,
I think
some good questions. I'm hoping they'll give us some interesting questions. I've low expectations.
so. What are we going to do for the 100th episode? So is it just questions? We'll do a little extra long show. If anyone wants to know anything about us, no matter how personal, we will answer.
They're not getting my PIN number from a card.
Not again. You're not falling for that one twice in one
Not
week.
again. Once skinned, once
exactly.
fooled, yeah, they're not getting my birthdays for addresses, nothing like that.
Nothing like that. But apart from that,
no intimate measurements. They're not getting any of those details.
no, we don't need to give them away.
No,
Some of them, I'm quite proud with. Yeah, I'm proud of them.
I don't work in metric.
Oh God! Now here's the thing. Since I mainly sell to the States, I stopped working in metric a while ago, and now it's a mix. It's a heady mix.
Fuck!
Yeah.
The Adam Savage, he's all about the inches, But have you seen his stupid tattoo that's like a fucking ruler
on his arm?
But as he gets older and saggier,
It'll become more inaccurate. The thing is, I got said sometimes when you meet Americans, and I met a couple like that, more than a couple like that in my time, and they get very defensive. They think that if you have an accent, you're instantly smarter than them, which of course is completely wrong. And they'll go, yeah, but America's done this, and we put a man on the moon, and they're like, do you use centimetres? And I go, well, I do. And they go, well, NASA, we put a man on the moon. And I have to correct them that NASA uses metric. I just had to say it.
Metric is simpler.
It is simpler. It's better set up.
It does make sense.
I don't care.
I can't measure myself in kilograms, though. I think in stone.
Oh, no, I think in stone. But anything less than anything outside of stones in kilos. I don't know what an ounce is.
Yeah, and height is feet. Isn't it? But it's a funny world we're living in, eh?
Miles per hour. That's very easy.
Oh, you're not kilometres, no.
No.
Oh God.
So I'm mixed.
The AI, when it's got us all turned us into human batteries, it'll sort this shit out.
I think
AI
so.
wouldn't be using fucking inches. It'll be you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, my measurements are all mixed up. It's like it's like if you're using a socket set, I'm very used to using millimetres.
Yeah, you use pints, not litres.
God. No, I don't use pints.
Now you think of it, we're living in a hellscape.
Do you know what an ounce is? I have no concept of what an ounce is. Yeah, but
Jesus
250
Christ.
mil, I know exactly.
I think my mum and dad still thinking pre-decimalisation money.
Yes, my mum does that as
They
well.
can still rattle it off.
She'll go, it's about 2 and 6 for that. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, according to my father, you could get one groat and you could just go to the shop and buy a roast chicken in the services of a lady of the night.
That's right. I don't understand this
and then
at all.
decimalisation, just everything got more expensive.
Now, my dad was like that. Now, he, to point out, he did die 20 years ago, but he did always talk in this pre-decimal, or just this weird, I don't know. I don't even know, 2 and 6. What is that? Does that mean anything? Is that just made up?
I don't know. It was a very complicated monetary system back then.
Yes, it was. And that reminds me, talking to my dead dad. I often use my dead dad as a joke. Or I use
Right.
things that have happened in my life as a joke, and they don't always work. Like when I got all my toys stolen, I told you that, and you didn't laugh. I
Yeah.
thought you would laugh,
No.
and you were
No.
actually quite empathetic. And I went, "Oh, that didn't work." But I have
No.
another thing that I used as a joke. Now, my neighbour Susan laughed like fuck, but I don't. I decided
Right.
not to use it as a joke. But I'll tell you what it is. If
Right.
someone uh, says something like, "Oh, when I was young, I used to have to get up and do the papers and that," I'll just say, "My family was murdered," because they actually were. I had 6 members of my family murdered, and I use
Oh,
it as a joke, and nobody laughs. So I'm laughing now, but nobody laughs. So if you ever hear me say it in front of someone, could you just back me up and laugh? Because nobody laughs.
I'm no your enabler. Jesus Christ.
Do you not think that's a funny
The-
joke?
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'd done it
That's
recently
ju-
with
yeah.
a friend of ours who's going through
Oh,
I won't say who because everyone listening will know who she is. And she was saying what a tough time she was going through, and I went, "My family was murdered." And I just thought it was the funniest way to stop a conversation.
oh, Jesus Christ.
But
The thing is,
she
that's
didn't.
a trigger. That's triggering now. You can't really do dark humor's gone. You're not allowed it anymore.
Can you not? Oh,
No, not really. But there's the sick joke is gone.
Yeah.
You're not allowed a sick joke. But all these things served a societal purpose.
I feel
It was Lance
yes.
in a boil. That's it. We're all fucking on that. We're all on a ship to the grave.
You just
You've got
said
to
it.
laugh about these things.
Lance in a
But
boil.
no,
That's it.
Yeah. But
Because
you're not allowed to now because somebody says, "But I'm upset by that." But you don't in your life have a right not to be upset.
that's right. It's nothing. That's not my
It's a shame, but you
responsibility.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah, no, it's
I don't know.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, right? You don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to offend anybody.
No.
But-
But bland humor can often be the most offensive to me. Your Michael,
I agree.
your Michael McIntyres of
Yeah,
this world
fuck that
are
cunt.
they're more offensive than Frankie Boyle because they're just producing some fucking pap.
But do you
It's
know
just
what they
pap.
do? It's a bit right. It's like you don't get this anymore, but it used to be called
Right.
softcore porn. In
Mate,
softcore,
it served a purpose.
it's all you could get. But in
It left
softcore,
room for a little bit of imagination.
you
know what I'm
could get
saying?
away with things that you weren't allowed to do in hardcore.
Well, that doesn't. No, but people. Yeah,
it's the
like
same as-
David Duchovny was a soft porn actor.
That's
He
right.
did those red
Red
shoe
Shoes,
diaries.
yeah.
It was all slightly smutty, very well lit pornography.
But-
But the days of like porn film, mainstream movies don't have these big stretched out sex scenes anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
But
It's
they
a bit-
used to. People would folk would go to the cinema to watch 9.5 weeks so they could get a stoner.
I liked it because I wanted to see what's in the fridge. I love that with people. What's
Well,
in
I
your
didn't
fridge?
like that because I thought, God, they're wasting a lot of food.
It's true, and I can't do it here with some bloody garlic sauce in yesterday's curry.
Have
Yeah.
you, by the way, you know I'm a human dustbin
Yes.
food-wise. Have you seen the new KFC burger where they just pour gravy on it?
No, I haven't seen this.
It's an advert. They have this. I think KFC's disgusting. They have the KFC,
Uh-huh.
and they've just got this jug of gravy,
Right.
and they just pour it on. So it's look it up.
Is it
It
just?
just looks like liquid shit they're pouring on.
Oh,
How the fuck
God.
are you supposed to eat a burger that you've drenched?
Right, okay, this is something I agree with. Now, here's why. There's a website, you might know it, The Chive, and it's just like a
Okay.
lad's website, but
Okay.
it's good to watch it because you get a lot of funny videos, and I enjoy all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And there's lots of girls in bikinis and shit, just the usual
Yeah,
1990s sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
But they have this thing that I can't look at, and it's called Triple B, and it's
Triple
babes,
B.
beer, and burgers. So there's a picture of a well-endowed lady in a bikini, and you go, "Oh, I like that." Then you scroll down one bit, and there's a burger, and it's 12 burgers covered in sauces, and it makes me
Okay.
sick to look at it. I can't look at
Right.
that. So I'll never know the next lady that's there because it's so disgusting.
There's that famous picture of, is it Kerry Katona?
Okay.
She's had a troubled life, but there's a picture of her. She's in like Spain.
Yeah.
She's sat She's sat in a lilo by a swimming pool.
Uh-huh.
She's got her tits out. She's got a cheeseburger in one hand, a pint, and a cigarette in the other hand. And it's just like
To be
every
fair,
time I watch stuff on the TV,
Uh-huh.
like I was watching something the other night, and it was one of these. I'm a celebrity, for example,
okay.
and people get gunged, and I'm like, what a pile of shite. But you know, there's somebody at home feverishly wanking.
Yes.
That's their thing.
They like
That's
it.
their fucking thing.
And for
That's their
someone,
bloody thing.
Kerry Katona is sexy. And not only that,
Well-
for someone else, her having a pint, a fag, and a whatever it was, and a burger, she's,
Well,
sexy.
that poor lassie, she used to be mainstream, so she'd have adverts in the I think she did Freeman's catalogue, so she had revenue stream.
Yeah.
But she's pissed it all away to such a degree. I think she's got like an OnlyFans account. That's her revenue now.
God, could you imagine it? Oh,
And
it'll
you
look
know
like
what I
that
mean?
picture I was telling you with all the burgers with sauce over it.
Yeah, and you're like,
Oh,
for fuck's sake.
God almighty.
It's a tough time for celebs, man. That
Yeah.
A lot of the revenues fucking. I noticed two things I've noticed. A lot of celebrities have gone grey-haired because they
That's
can't hold
true.
on to the
That's
just
it.
for men.
Yeah, that's right.
They've all been forced into it. And I'm a celebrity. Sir Mo Farah, do you know
Uh-huh.
how much money he got for 2 weeks in Wales?
How much?
£300,000.
Jesus, man.
Eh?
I'd
That's
do
a
it for
nice
half
little
that.
earner, isn't it?
Yeah, God.
Jesus Christ, you could live off that for years.
A long time.
Just-
Listen,
I would-
we're in
I would say-
Dundee, right?
Huh?
You go 5 minutes outside Dundee, you could get a half decent house for 50 grand.
You could, you could essentially, that would be the rest. You could live off that for the rest of your life.
Here, yeah, absolutely.
Without a
Absolutely, you
doubt.
could. Yeah.
London, maybe not.
Nope.
Maybe not.
But here, no
but
problem.
But desperate. But all these celebrities, they all tried initially. They had to get themselves onto the kind of COVID thing. So they had to be doing acts of kindness. They had to show us how to eat during
Yeah.
lockdown. They had to show us how to exercise. But there's a limit. It's just desperate. They just almost cannibalise each other.
Oh, it's a terrible thing.
It's monstrous times. Your heart does go out to the celebrities.
Does it?
No, it doesn't.
I think-
all I need's a tub of hand gel and old sexy Colonel Tom walking about in slow motion. That's all I
Oh,
need. I love a
God.
man in uniform.
Oh.
Do you think Dan Snow and Colonel Tom, it would be like Smithers and Monty Byrne.
I think, yes,
That kind of
exactly,
thing,
yeah.
wouldn't it? Yeah. He'd lick his
Colonel
dewlaps,
Tom.
wouldn't he?
Oh, Jesus, man. Colonel Tom's
Captain
just...
Tom.
Captain Tom. His
He's had
Highness
a
Tom
statue.
has just brought out, I think, a gin.
Oh, fuck, of course he has.
He's
I
just
think
brought-
there's
yeah.
a film coming out about his adventures.
Oh, my God.
It's
What?
Brad Pitt's going to be
He
playing
just,
him.
he just
I'm not
walked up
kidding.
the... Nah, he just walked up this
No, it's
patio.
happening.
Oh, my God.
Michael Bay, I watched one of these on YouTube, kind of the top 10 films coming out
Yeah,
in the next week, but nothing's in the cinema, so it's all streaming.
yes, that's right, yeah.
And there's one film, Michael Bay's latest one, is basically a testosterone-driven version of the COVID crisis. So it's like death squads going around, and if you've got the COVID, they put you into camps or shoot
This
you.
is what... this is bullshit.
It's a fucking dangerous film to make.
Yeah.
Because people are going to watch this. It's going to drive elements of society fucking mental.
Oh,
I think it's a.
and you know
it's a
what?
ba-
It's not
it's a bad
creative.
move.
It's not creative to do something about COVID. It's so fucking
How
obvious.
many people have been sat in the house for 7 months and they're writing a screenplay about COVID? There will
Oh,
be
the fucking
millions
hacks.
of them, millions
Hacks.
upon millions of them.
That's what it'll be, and it'll be
Oh.
their version of it and how they got through it and how we survived it. Oh, shut the fuck up,
And
Hollywood hacks.
I've heard people speaking like we're like the we're the COVID generation.
Oh,
We're
Jesus.
like the wartime law. This is our blitz.
People had bombs drop on them. Their family were ripped apart, physically torn to pieces in front of their eyes. I have
Yeah,
spent
it's
months
not-
on the fucking Xbox. Shut the fuck up.
I've been getting custard donuts delivered to my house.
I got on top of my athlete's foot in this time. Jesus.
But full they love an umbrella, they love a thing, they love a tag to go with themselves.
Oh, it's
They
got to
love
be
to
a
give
name. You got to
themselves
name it.
yeah.
Do you know what's
Yeah, it's
happened
like
in this time for me? Nothing. Nothing. I'm taking this year out. I'm not even going to remember it. Christ,
no,
people have
yeah,
confronted tragedy this year because of this disease. And you want to know something else? I'm going to point out. People around the world have confronted tragedy for a million different reasons.
yeah.
A million different
Well,
reasons.
Diego Maradona died.
And the
Well, he
fact
was
is,
a
I thought
wild
he
son
died
of a
years
bitch.
ago. I thought
60?
he died years
Fuck,
ago.
I didn't think he'd live to 60.
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
I'm worrying. I'm not a big football guy, but I did know Diego Maradona. But I'm worried about Paul Gascoigne. Has anybody seen him for a while?
The last time I saw him, has he had a facelift, or is it just the drink that's done it?
The drink. He looks no different from an alky standing at a Dundee bus stop.
Yeah,
No
he's
different.
got that facelift look. Yeah.
But while he's as skinny with it, because they gave him that injection that makes you vomit if you drink booze.
Right. Okay.
But he kept drinking
Oh Jesus.
because you can get used to it.
That's insane.
You can
That's a commitment.
There's a document, a drama I watched a number of years ago. Oh fuck! Do you know Is it Mark Rylan?
Yeah. Got you.
Really good actor.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was him. He was in a drama called The Grass Arena,
Okay.
and it was about a homeless alkie who developed a love of chess.
Right. Okay.
And it's his story, and they were taking him into drying out clinics and giving him these injections. It's fucking horrific. But his mind, he was a chess master.
Okay.
He was. It's incredible. I'll if anybody gets a chance, anybody knows anything about it, let me know. It's fucking fantastic. But what's annoying me is some things you think you're living in a world now where everything's available at your fingertips.
That's
but
true.
The thing is, still I can't find a lot of stuff.
Well,
you know what I mean?
we have noticed though a lot of the stuff that you say, does anyone know about it? You've made it up. It's in your head.
Well, no, that's not strictly true. Children of the Dog Star.
Okay, that I admit I called you fucking insane for that, but apparently it's a whole New Zealand thing. I didn't know.
That's a fucking thing. I hope I didn't imagine the grass. Oh, you don't know though. That's the thing.
Bella Lugosi. I'm going to jump off that cliff.
Oh, the children of the night. What sweet music.
Oh my!
He was
goodness.
buried in his Dracula costume.
That's the way I want to be. No, I want to be cremated.
Oh no! At least I hope once you're dead, somebody will make an effort and dress you properly.
You know
Jeremy
what?
Brett.
Wait, hold on! I put the music
a nice
off.
suit.
You just said that, and my own mother said to me, "At least in your coffin, you'll be dressed smartly." I went, "You cheeky cunt!"
It's true though. It's true. Somebody will put an iron near some of your clothes for once.
Oh no, we'll have none of that. I'll make sure.
You'll come back from the grave just to make a mess of yourself.
Oh,
here's a post-it. It's no Stephen.
Here's a post-it. Oh God,
it's
right.
no Stephen. It's
what
a
are you
different
do?
fella.
You're going to have to be social. Be nice.
Well, I hope you do. Hello there, fella. How you doing? Smashing. Thank you very much. Dear bud.
Oh, well done. That was actually very polite. That was good. Well done.
Oh no, it's the wrong fucking address. It's some other person. Oh God's sake, it's the wrong number. What the fuck has he done?
They're all wrong.
Hold on, I'll have to chase after him. I'll have to phone you back.
Okay, right. Right. Okay. And Goron is gone.
All the best. Ta-da.
He's away. He's away. Goron is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, wash your balls. Look after yourself. Until next time, I'm going to play the tune again because I feel a bit lonely. Laters.